Hi everyone, today I would like to talk to you about the story of the last 90 years going from my grandma era to mine. So, starting from 1932, Roosevelt became president of the United States of America and Hitler became the Germany chancellor. In this year, the world population was about 2 billion people. The population in Italy in 1932 was about 41 million people. The registered car were only 25,000 and the fertility rate was about 3.06. The level of education was not that high because so many children only stopped studying after primary school. My grandma was born in 1932 in Italy. 8 years after her birth, the Second World War started, and at that point her life and the life of many others changed dramatically. So, during the war she was used to sleep with her day clothes because she had to be ready in every moment to run from the bombs. During these periods her house was destroyed, and so her and her family have to move to a public one. Her diet was based on a slice of bread per person daily, and so the parents would often give their share to my grandma and her sister. It was only after the end of the war that they could start buying meat again. But it had become a luxury good, and they were lucky if they could get twice in a month. To get grocery, there were only little specialized shop, and not like today the big markets. So she traveled for the first time out of their region, Umbria, at 16 to spend a weekend with some family members, and she saw the sea for the first time. So, after she got married at 24, she started to travel a little bit more across the closest region, and they started to build their life with my grandpa. With a normal salary, a worker salary, they managed to raise 3 kids, to buy a car and an apartment. Having a car back then was not a common thing. My grandparents were lucky to have been able to buy one. But it was mainly used by my grandpa, while the rest of the family would ride by and sometimes catch the bus. So clothes were hand-made down or borrowed, and in the case of damage, my grandma would fix them because they had to last. The people were getting married really early, about 22 or 25 years old, and fertility rates were higher. The woman would stay home to raise the kids, as it was the case for my grandma. To earn extra money, she would work as a seamstress. So, going to school was also considered as a luxury. The majority of kids would finish elementary school, and only few of them, would go to middle school. So, in 1960, the birth control pill is launched on the market, and the OPEC was born, and it's the start of the Berlin Wall buildings, and there was a really an economic boom due also on the fact on the European Accord like the CE. The population in Italy in 1960 had certainly increased from my grandmother's time, reaching 50 million. There were about 381,000 registered cars, and the fertility rate dropped to 2.41. The level of education had certainly increased. In fact, children continued to study even after elementary school. My father was born in 1960. His generation is completely different from my grandmother's. He is a baby boomer. My father never experienced the war himself. He only felt the Cold War, which, however, was quite different from the World War II. Food in these times was no longer a luxury. Meat was bought often, and you could begin to breathe the economic boom. My father had, like so many others, the opportunity to study up to high school graduation. In those time, quite an honorable result. He finished his studies and immediately started to work, and with the salary he was able to afford to live on his own. His first airplane trip was at the age of 60. After waiting tables that summer, he decided to go on a European tour. The market for clothes had also changed. People were buying more and using less. More and more people had cars, which had become a new necessary commodity. Coming to my time, the world in 1999 was changing so much. The euro had become the currency of the European Union. The Treaty of Amsterdam was being signed. Putin was being elected president of Russia. And the first social network, the forerunner of days, was born, MSN. In Italy, the population was about 57 million people and about 2.4 million cars were registered. The fertility rate has fallen to 1.23, and the education rate had certainly risen sharply. Many people starting university and high school was becoming almost a standard. My generation lives in a more globalized context than ever before. We have heard a lot about the war from our grandparents, but we have only been living through it for a few months. Food, travel, clothes are no longer a luxury, as prices, with mass markets, have decreased a lot. We are the generation of fast food, fast fashion, and so on. Studying until at least the age of 18 has become a normal thing, and a great many are enrolling in a college. We are the rent and hire generation because we move around so much that we never know where life will take us tomorrow. In all of this, the fertility rate has plummeted, declining sharply. I really would like to thank you kindly for your attention. Thank you so much.
Ciao Ivan, spero che le cose che ti ho detto ti servano per fare un buon lavoro.